Last week, I turned heel and ruined Wrestlemania, but this week, I have turned face, and I am going to fantasy book Wrestlemania and make it better. But like the I ruined Wrestlemania video, these are going to be plausible things that can actually happen. Therefore, you can't have Dean Ambrose just show up so we can do a Shield powerbomb on CM Punk, because Dean Ambrose, he's Jon Moxley in AEW, signed contract and all. Not gonna happen. Has to be realistic. Has to be able to actually happen. We're gonna start off with the World Heavyweight Championship match, because I think that's gonna be the first match. But before we get into it, let's talk this one on my shoulder. I am trying to give it away to one of you beautiful people out there in YouTube land. No joke. I'm being very, very serious right here. I've already given away 2 championship belts on this channel. I want to give away a third. Every 10,000 subscribers, I give away a belt. We're almost at 20. That's when I give it away. How do you win, you might ask? Well, good question. Good question. All you got to do is comment below. You comment below, and then you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. That was the bell notification. And maybe a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Thumbs up helps engagement, tells YouTube to show this to other wrestling fans, and then we get more people on the channel. We hit 20,000. I give away the belt. I quit my day job, because ultimately that's what I'm trying to do. Quit the day job, produce wrestling content full-time, and you win this. Not a toy, but a replica WWE official championship belt. So let's start off with the match that I think will open night 1, and it's going to be Jey Uso versus Gunther. I don't know when they should add this. If they don't add it on Monday Night Raw, then they need to add it on a Friday, or they need to add it on Saturday, but this needs to become a first blood match. A first blood match, we need that, based on what Gunther did to Jimmy Uso.
Help him, come here! What is the military over here, Wade? Get him out of here!
You're not on my level. You never will be. Your last warning.
It just needs to happen. We need to raise the stakes. Stakes? Did someone say steaks? I'm kind of hungry. Medium rare, please. But no, for real, we need to make this more serious than it already is. And added bonus. What if at the beginning of the match, remember last year? Or was it last year? 2 years ago? No, it was last year. Remember last year when Kevin Owens was there to pump up Sami Zayn before he went out to fight, actually, Gunther?
You do it! Go!
Well, we're going to do that again, but this time it's Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is there as Jey Uso's about to come out, and Roman's like, do this. You got this. For the family. For the bloodline. And oh, that pumps up Jey. Jey then comes out and he is eating up a storm. And yeah, so then we have the match, and Jey Uso's actually gonna win. And a first blood match does actually benefit Jey Uso in that if everybody's afraid that he only has 3 moves, well, you know, you can always add a chair for a 4th move, and just a first blood match will allow for more brawling to happen, and Jey Uso will win, and it allows Gunther to not take a pin. So it's kind of like win, 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 win. And then we get our big yeet moment. Match 2, Naomi versus Jade Cargill. It's crazy, but this is one of my most hyped matches. I love the work Naomi is doing. So I'm going to say this. It would be very perfectly understandable for Naomi to lose, since they are building up Jade Cargill as the future of the division, and she was a big, huge signing. However, I think everybody's impressed with Naomi. I think everybody's a little even taken aback by how good this Naomi character is.
Done with being too nice. I'm done with being undervalued, underutilized, underappreciated.
So I say we pivot just a little and we make Naomi a little stronger, and she actually beats Jade Cargill. Now, though, if we want to protect Jade, why don't we just call up the Meta Girls?
To tonight's Raw. Let me just go ahead and tell you, we're not done with the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Jade.
We have our eyes on the prize, and that's it.
Period. And whoever wants to get in our way, we'll go through them too, okay? There's nobody better than Meta. Okay.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Lash Legend and Shakira Jackson, and we could do a little trio right there. They help Naomi beat Jade Cargill, and this would be good for the Meta Girls because Naomi's a veteran, and she can kind of like help them acclimate to the main roster moving forward. And of course, Jade's gonna be mad. Backlash. Jade Cargill can get her win at Backlash. LA Knight, yeah, versus Jacob Fatu is up next, and this one, I could go a lot of ways. I could see Jacob losing because Solo Sikoa is jealous, and I kind of like that because it allows Jacob Fatu to remain strong, have a feud, have an epilogue of the whole bloodline saga, completely wrap a bow on that, and it allows LA Knight to continue with his US title reign. But however, I think I would rather this happen.
Oh my God! You know who that is, Corey! Oh my God! That's Tonga Loa!
Tonga Loa comes out and helps, and yay, Tonga Loa is back. Best Wrestlemania of all time, right? So we have Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga. They help Jacob Fatu. You know, they just distract LA Knight. It's not like overly crazy, but they do distract him, and Jacob Fatu wins. And LA Knight will then go on to the main event scene. While though Jacob Fatu, the next night on SmackDown, what if we have a big ceremony for Jacob Fatu winning the US title? He gets the mic and he says, you know what? Losing has consequences.
So there's consequences to losing.
They look at Solo, and guess who attacks? Jimmy Uso. It'll be 1 year to the date, kind of, sort of, you know, the SmackDown after WrestleMania, where basically Solo Sikoa did the same thing to Jimmy. Now, if we don't want to have Jimmy in it, we could do the same thing, exact same thing without Jimmy. And they beat up Solo Sikoa, and they throw him to the curb, and then we'll start Solo Sikoa's redemption arc of him becoming a face. New Day versus the War Raiders. The New Day win. That's it. We just keep this one simple. The New Day have to win. We've almost completely wasted the heel turn in December.
Yeah, you broke your neck. So what? Why don't you get the hell out of this ring? Get back to your desk.
We're literally at the almost too little too late scenario, but just give them the titles, Bonus points if somehow they can tie it to Big E. I don't know, you know, they keep talking about the War Raiders like necks being like, you know, fragile and stuff. Maybe the New Day win and then they put their necks, their heads in chairs and stomp on them. And it's like, oh my God. And the whole time they could be like saying, this is Big E. This is Big E. Yeah, we have a callback somehow to Big E's injury so we can remember why we hated them so much in the first place. But at the end of the day, they win the belts and they're going to have a long title reign on Raw.
The legend has returned. He is El Grande Americano.
Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. It would be so epic if Chad Gable was actually able to stand in the corner of Grande Americano. I would love that because last year Chad, you know, helped Sami Zayn to the promised land and he wasn't allowed to come out. So this year, you know, if it wasn't for Chad Gable being sick, Grande Americano wouldn't have ever been able to like revitalize his career maybe. So, you know, if Chad can't be on the actual card, then maybe he could just be out there to support Grande Americano. But let's just say that Chad was just going to stay in the back, or maybe he's still sick. I don't know. So that would be my first option. But my second option is this: we have a matchup between Rey Mysterio and Chad Gable, right? And you know how there's been a couple matches where Rey Mysterio's mask accidentally comes off, and I mean it's a true accident. Like I think the time when Xavier Woods did it before they turned heel.
Woods trying to wrap around his head. Oh no! Oh my!
And then one time when it was Grande Americano did it to Dragon Lee.
Grabbing the mask of Dragon Lee. Oh no!
His mask came off, and well, they got the each time Xavier Woods and Grande Americano got the pin, right? So what if we did that here? But this time it's Rey Mysterio It's a complete accident, accidentally pulls the mask off of Grande Americano, but the funny thing would be that we all know who it is, and yet he's covering his face as if we don't, and then he actually loses because of that, and that would just be, it would be hilarious, and allowed to protect everybody to have kind of a funny moment, and then he runs back trying to hide his face, even though we all know, and you're like, wait a second, Chop, did you just say you know who Grande Americano is? Yes, I do actually think I know who it is. I'll save that for my Grande Americano video tomorrow. Now we have Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton. This one, low-key, is a very interesting matchup. Not because of the story, but because of the real-life hatred it seems that these two have. They've gone off the script so much.
You're gonna be just like you are outside of the ring. Alone. What is that record? Like what? 0-3? Is that why Kaiser's in my DMs?
But sometimes real life drama makes for very interesting TV. A stiff shot here and there never hurts some. Well, I guess it did hurt someone, does hurt, but it helps. It helps in the long run make money and make epic feuds. In this match, though, we're gonna have Tiffany win. Sorry, Truth Man, but don't worry, you'll like this. We have Tiffany Stratton. She's gonna win, and she's gonna win clean, right? She wins, she celebrates, she leaves, and then we pan to Charlotte Flair, and she is a mess. She's not even crashing out, right? She's not tearing everything apart, but she's crying. She's crying. She's sad, she's depressed, she's defeated, she's at rock bottom. Her personal life has been aired on TV, and it sucks. And then the music hits. Whoa! The man, Becky Lynch, returns. She returns, and she looks angry, fired up, and she makes a beeline to Charlotte Flair, and she says, "Get up. Get up right now." And Charlotte looks up at her, and Becky's like, "Get up. I said get up." And Charlotte gets up, and Becky gets in her face, and she's like, "Is this who you are? Is this who you are? Are you a loser? Are you this? Are you that?" And Charlotte, she's like, she doesn't know exactly what's going on, and then Becky starts asking these questions instead. "Are you a winner? Are you the queen?" And each time Charlotte's like, yeah, I am. And Becky is motivating Charlotte Flair. She is motivating her, and it's like she empowers her, and both of them, they walk out with their heads held high. Now we come to the night one main event. Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins versus CM Punk. I'm going to be honest with you. I've heard this somewhere else. We're going to add a stipulation on the winner gets to keep the services of Paul Heyman. That's it. He gets to keep the services of Paul Heyman. That's a Roman CM Punk thing, but they had to add it to the contract. That meant all three get the option, and Seth Rollins will win. Don't know how. Of course, it'll probably be something along the lines of Roman was about to pin Punk, or Punk was about to pin Roman, and then Seth Rollins curb stomps the person on top, and he steals the pin. But that means that Paul Heyman will go with Seth Rollins. Now, we can go two ways with this. We could have just Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins together. I know, you're like, Seth doesn't need Paul, but you know what? CM Punk didn't need Paul Heyman. Brock Lesnar didn't even really need Paul Heyman, but it did help because he's not the greatest on the mic, and Roman Reigns didn't need Paul Heyman, and yet Paul Heyman got them to that next level. So it wouldn't be a bad thing if Paul Heyman did stick with Seth. Or again, I got this from one of my viewers, what if Seth Rollins just released Paul Heyman, and the only thing he said was, you can't go to either of them. You can't go to Roman, you can't go to CM Punk. You're released of your duties. And Paul Heyman's like, what do I do now? And Paul Heyman then goes and finds another client.
And I'll come get you.
That is one. Can you imagine that?
Paul Heyman will come out with Braun Breaker, his new client. And then I got one more thing that we could do in this match that I think would be very, very cool. Don't think it'll happen, but I think it would be like sweet and amazing. What if at some point during the match, Gunther actually comes out and takes Roman Reigns out of the equation. And you're like, wait, what? Yes, remember, early in the night, the first matchup, Roman says, do this for the family. And maybe Roman even said, do you want me to come out there with you? And he was like, no, I got it. So Gunther goes and blames Roman Reigns for his loss early in the night, and so Gunther attacks Roman, and we can have a backlash match, an actual backlash match of Gunther and Roman Reigns. That would be freaking huge. But I just don't see that happening, but I would like that. So now we go to night two. Night two, we start off with AJ Styles and Logan Paul. I want to have one big angle happen before WrestleMania. I want AJ Styles to go on the Logan Paul podcast, right? As like, it's like an interview.
Liv Morgan, ladies and gentlemen. The first time we saw this relationship with you and Dom brewing, what was going on in that room?
Logan Paul has his own podcast. He interviews wrestlers. I want a very uncomfortable interview happen for about 20 minutes where Logan Paul and his host are kind of making fun of AJ Styles, and eventually after 20 minutes, it breaks into a actual brawl, and they fight on the Logan Paul actual podcast. It would be a viral clip, goes everywhere, right? That would be huge for this matchup. And then we get to WrestleMania itself, and they're fighting. It's a great match, just like everybody thought. Here comes Karrion Kross.
It's really not that surprising if you think about it.
Because Karrion Kross has been like the devil in his ear saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. Logan Paul sucks. You're the phenomenal one. But Karrion Kross, he didn't like that AJ Styles just kept like ignoring him or blowing him off. So he sides with Logan Paul. And Logan Paul wins. Karrion Kross, Logan Paul, they become a pairing in WWE. Karrion Kross sees Logan Paul as someone that he can shape, mold, control, manipulate, and it's the perfect situation for Kross. Next up, Lyra Valkyria, Bayley versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. You're gonna hate me, Bayley Rhodes, but in this matchup, Bayley never comes out. Yeah, Bayley never comes out. Lyra comes out. Liv Morgan and Raquel come out, but no Bayley. And it's like, are they going to forfeit the match? Lyra's like, no, she'll be here. Because maybe like Bayley kept calling and say, don't worry, I'll be there.
But you better win. Can you just not break my back again?
And Lyra says, just start the match. I'm sure Bayley will get here. And then we have a matchup. And this matchup should be like 2 minutes, right? Because it's 2-on-1. And yet, against all odds, Lyra is doing an actual good job. Yeah, she's getting beat up a lot, but she has these little flurries of comebacks. And hear me out, though. Hear me out on this matchup. I actually don't really connect with Lyra. I'm not a huge fan of Lyra, so I'm trying to leave my personal opinions out of it and make each match as good as possible because I love Liv Morgan, and I'm actually even starting to like Raquel Rodriguez. So don't be like, oh, why are you burying Liv? Why do you hate Liv? In this scenario, I love Liv actually way more than Lyra. But that said, Lyra is having just a way more competitive match than she should, and the crowd is starting to get behind her because they're starting to believe that this one person can beat Liv Morgan and her muscles. At the end of the day, after very close roll-up after roll-up after roll-up, close calls, false finishes, a match that should have ended in 2 minutes actually maybe went a whole 8. Liv Morgan will eventually win the match. But no shade. It was 2-on-1. No shade. The crowd applaud Lyra for her effort, and we're left wondering what happened to Bayley. Now we go to the next match. It's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Against all odds, one of the matches I thought was the stupidest, lamest, like what the heck. But you know what? I'm actually looking forward to it. I believe they've done a good job. Drew McIntyre somehow sold me on it. Damian Priest, he played his part very well.
Claymore right across the face.
And I'm actually very invested and very interested. This is a Sin City street fight, so it just means no DQ. Probably going to go all over the place. And at the end of the day, Drew McIntyre's going to win. However, this is what makes this match so great. You know, they have their cool spots, whatever the case may be, and Drew McIntyre wins. Bonus points if Drew actually rolls up Damian Priest. Nah, let's just have a Claymore. But after the match, though, Drew helps Damian Priest up and shakes his hand. Even though Damian lost, he won Drew's respect. And this will be the beginning of a face turn for Drew McIntyre, and it will also then, maybe in the coming weeks, we can have Drew and Damian Priest not necessarily align or team up, but they start becoming drinking buddies. You know, you see some vignettes or backstage promos of them drinking together. It would be cool if we could even get Sheamus in there.
Oh, cheers, lad. Slandra.
Lemonade that hits harder for mics that go harder.
And maybe Drew says, you know what, I'm looking for some guys that will have my back. I'm going for that world title, and I want some guys that will have my back and that I can trust. And who better than the blokes that I went to war with? And Sheamus and Damian Priest become his, like, not his henchmen, but like they're all equals, you know? They're like three solid dudes that have each other's backs. Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and Penta. I say we give this to Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio has been starting to get the crowd support. He's put in the work. His character is like one of the most over on TV. This is a perfect example. If it's just like first fall wins, then this is a perfect opportunity to get the belt off Braun without him having to eat a pin. Dominic wins. He can easily roll up Finn Balor or something, or sneakily steal the win away from Penta, and he can get some heat, and whatever the case may be, Dominic wins with the Intercontinental belt, and it's just a huge moment. The dude has never won at WrestleMania, and it would just be great. It would just be awesome. Has he won at WrestleMania? No, I don't think he has, and it would just be super, super cool for Dominic to have it. Then Dom and Finn can finally, like, have their moment of just a crash out of Judgment Day, and they can do a loser leaves Judgment Day at Backlash, and with the Intercontinental title on the line, and Finn will finally get away from Judgment Day as a whole. Braun Breaker then can go on to the main event scene. Like I said earlier, we could have Paul Heyman align with him.
A WrestleMania moment waiting to happen. I give to you, Braun Breaker.
Because he could be like, oh, I'm going to get my title back from that little pipsqueak. And then Paul Heyman enters the picture and says, wait a second, why are you after the Intercontinental belt? No. The money is over here. And so Paul and Braun Breaker will align. And Penta's over anyway, so he doesn't necessarily need it at the moment. He's still kind of new and fresh. He could probably team up with Rey Fenix, though.
Street Profits, Motor City, Vegas, WrestleMania weekend.
Unfortunately, is not on the card. It's going to be on the SmackDown Before. So on the SmackDown Before, they usually don't do overbook things. So honestly, just let the Street Profits win that. And for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, give that to either someone from NXT, or maybe give it to someone who would kind of use it, like Owen Hart would use a Slammy.
Two-time Slammy Award winner. I knew it. I'm a winner. I did it. Woo!
Something that's like not really that valuable, and yet you treat it like it is. Maybe Carmelo Hayes.
Hayes won. He did it.
He wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and him and Miz, they carry it everywhere they go. That would be kind of funny. Let's actually make that trophy mean something. Give it to Carmelo Hayes. I would like that. Those two things are happening on the SmackDown Before WrestleMania, though. Something that would ruin WrestleMania would be if Goldberg appeared just on camera. His presence alone ruins everything. So let's just not show Goldberg at all. Even if he's there. Even if Goldberg is there and he's in the front row, let's just have let's blur out his face. So now we're doing the triple threat, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. It's a great match, one of the greatest matches of all time. It's so freaking good. And at some point, though, Bayley comes out and takes out Io Sky. What's up, guys? It's like, wait, what? And it's like, oh my God, they fought last year, and now here's Bayley taking out Io Sky. It's like, what is going on here? But Rhea and Bianca, they're continuing to fight, and maybe at some point, Rhea gets the upper hand and kind of takes out Bianca Belair, and she's gonna go for the pin, but at the last second, she's pulled out of the ring, the camera pans, and it's Charlotte Flair, and Rhea's like, what? What are you doing? Why did you pull me out to Charlotte Flair? And Charlotte Flair is getting in her face, and just as they're about to fight, blindsided by the man, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch blindsides Rhea Ripley, and Rhea is on the ground, and Charlotte and Becky Lynch attack her. They throw her back in the ring. Bianca Belair doesn't really know what happened. She gets the pin, right? She pins, she looks around, and she sees now Bayley on one ring post, Becky Lynch on the other ring post, and Charlotte on one ring post. They get in the ring. They say, you know, it's probably Becky talking. She says, "You're welcome." And she says, "The four horsewomen are reuniting."
Revolution.
Because those three plus Sasha Banks, they were the four horsewomen from a long time ago, before NXT became like a third brand. But Sasha Banks is Mercedes Moné in AEW, so she can't come out. So what they say is, we're reforming the four horsewomen, and we have an opening. Bianca, we want you in. And Bianca's just like dumbfounded. She did not want to cheat to win. She is just completely blindsided by everything that's happening. And Bayley, that's why she didn't show up earlier. Bayley, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch walk down the aisle, and they say, "We'll see you Monday for your answer." And that closes that segment. Bianca's going to say no. Bianca's going to say no. And so now we have the original women of the Women Revolution versus Bianca Belair. That would be very intense. Next up, Randy Orton. Randy Orton, unfortunately, does not have an actual confirmed match right now. It's like Kevin Owens. Oh man, I hope Kevin Owens was working on this, but it doesn't seem like he is. So even though there's still a part of me that was like, maybe he's still fooling us. That's how good Kevin Owens' character is. But unfortunately, reports are he's had surgery, and I wish him the best in his recovery. So if it's not Kevin Owens, who could it be? I'm still thinking maybe Nick Aldis. They kind of led to it being Solo Sikoa, but I don't know. Let's have it be Nick Aldis. Just have it Nick Aldis, right? Randy Orton wins. He gets his first win in 4 years on a PLE. But here's the thing. He beats Nick Aldis, and he goes to shake his hand, but Nick Aldis doesn't shake his hand. Nick Aldis just leaves, and Randy's like, okay, whatever, and then he starts doing his pose, right? This will be the beginning of a Nick Aldis heel turn that sets something off with Nick. He gets the bug to be a wrestler again, and he starts doing very heel things to Randy Orton, and it just starts to trickle, and he starts to go mad with power. So now we're at the main event. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. John Cena has turned heel. He's turned his back on the C Nation. And it's like, what's going to happen here? Will he win his 17th championship? The record-breaking 17th for his final year, his retirement year, and his final WrestleMania main event. And they're fighting. It's back and forth. And then just like last year, it's the last 5 minutes that matter. The Rock appears. You could tell he's going to get involved. It's The Rock, John Cena, Cody in the ring, and then the glass breaks. That's right, the glass breaks. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. By God, it's about to be a slobber knocker. Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is already scheduled for like a meet and greet or something. So he's definitely there that weekend and has said multiple times in multiple interviews that, you know what, call him. He's there to help Cody Rhodes. And he comes down, he makes a beeline for the ring. He gets in the ring. We have The Rock. We have John Cena on one side. We have Cody Rhodes and Stone Cold on another side. This is a moment. And then kick to the gut of Cody Rhodes. Stone Cold Stunner on Cody. John Cena gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. For the third year in a row, we get the Cody sad face. The Cody, I can't believe I just lost. WrestleMania 39, Night 2. WrestleMania 40, Night 1. WrestleMania 41, Night 2. The Cody sad face. And we close WrestleMania 41 with the three icons of The Rock, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, holding the belt hostage, and that's how we make WrestleMania 41 amazing and awesome. What did you think of my booking, of the little ingredients, the spices that I put in the WrestleMania stew? Let me know in the comments below. Or if you have something that you would like to add or book, go for it. Throw it in the comments. That's, you know what? we're just talking. We're just having fun. Go for it. Have some fun. Comment below your ideas. Boys, girls, have yourselves a great day.